evening, ladies. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Day three. Day three of our perimenopausal power shift into becoming your radiant self. How delightful does that sound? And you know what? You're well on your way to doing that. You know, when we up level the information that we've got, when we actually understand that we've been operating from only the knowledge that we have so far, and that we don't know everything. There's always more to learn. And once we get out of that, I know everything, I know what I'm doing, it's just not working. When we actually open ourselves up to that and change our thoughts, our beliefs, take different action to get better results, then things start shifting. It's a beautiful process. And it sounds so, of course, that's the way it is. But unless we actually stop for a moment and actually break down how it works, then often we can get just stuck in the same, and never get the results that we want. And this is very true when it comes to sleep. So tonight we're actually talking about sleep, rest and restore. We're talking about the cellular science of sleep. I do love to empower my ladies with bit more extra information, because I think if we've got the information, we understand, and we go, oh, okay, I understand why she's saying I need to do that. It's not just random information. It actually makes sense, and it's very personal to the person. So how did you go? Let's start first. How did you go with day one? We've been tracking, we got to know our bodies. Yeah, we've looked at our bodies, we've got to understand our bodies a bit. And even though we're talking perimenopause, menopause, hormonal balancing symptoms and all the things that go on, we know that it's not just estrogen and progesterone. That's only two hormones out of a whole collection of over 50. So we've got to look at the bigger picture, right? And that's what we've done. And the symptoms that we're experiencing are not just all hormonal symptoms. The picture's bigger than that. And once we understand the language, we start to see the bigger picture. And so on Monday, we did that, right? Have you been tracking your symptoms? It gets really interesting when you start to see a pattern unfold. And sometimes you need a little bit of support to see that pattern, make a bit of sense of it. Then yesterday we turned our feed your fire. This is about nourishment, not about deprivation. You know, in a changing body, we've got to nourish ourselves in a different way. It's still very similar, but there's a lot of nuances around it, and how do we actually make it so that it works, where our body is not 20 years old, 30 years old anymore. We're going through a phase of our lives where our body's changing. We spoke about not just the microbiome, but the estrobiome. That's the thing, right? Our microbiome changes, and we start to see food sensitivities, and we start to experience things like migraines where maybe we've never had them before, or mood changes where before we've always been really good. A lot of women are getting diagnosed with adult onset ADHD and depression through this menopausal transitional phase. Now, is it chemical imbalances or is it inflammation? And I can tell you from a clinical perspective that we get results just with nutrition. So powerful. And we do see changes in the biochemistry of the brain. We don't test the doctors don't even test the biochemistry of the brain. They just diagnose as well. But we go by the symptoms. So if we're getting better clarity of the brain, then we know that we're making changes, and it goes back to inflammation and blood sugar stability and all the things that we're actually going to discuss tonight in the rest and restore. How does this all tie into our sleep pattern, and how important is sleep anyway? There's so many different nuances within the sleep conversation, because many women are actually experiencing so many different things. So day three, this is the emotional and physiological pivot in our series of 5. Women have arrived having a lot of different experiences. Day 1, we had a cognitive shift. We started to realise that we don't know all there is to know, and there's other things going on that we didn't even consider. But now we can see a bigger picture, right? We can start to see how it connects into how we feel each day. Day 2 is about the nutritional power, and today we go deeper. So sleep. Sleep is the session that brings a lot of women to tears. Not from despair, not necessarily from despair, but just from recognition of how exhausted we can actually get. The 2 a.m. wakings. Women start to dread bedtime. It's like, oh, I just know I need to sleep, but I'm just not in the right space to sleep. It's an unusual position to be in because we can feel so exhausted but so wired that we just can't sleep. So we almost dread bedtime and just stay up late. We're waking more exhausted than when we went to bed. You notice that? You say, oh, I'm awake, I don't want to go to bed, but I'll go to bed, and then we sleep and we wake up even tighter. Like, how does that work? Surely we must sleep and wake up more refreshed, but that's not happening. So it's not about sleep so much, is it? What else is going on? Ask better questions when you start to look at the bigger picture. The waking more exhausted, these experiences can be quite profound and when we suffer through these, that they're almost never really addressed clinically with the depth and the compassion that they deserve. Because when we get to a deep healing sleep, oh my God, the whole world is such a nicer place to be in, isn't it? So today, we're going to give you both the deepest clinical explanation that we can give in a practical, understandable way, and also the most personal moment of this week. But let's just backtrack a little minute again. So, first off, what have you noticed about your foods? Have you been tracking those at all? And have you noticed any nuances in the foods that you're eating and how you're feeling? It may be too early. Like, we only started yesterday. It's good to actually do it for a good week and really track the symptoms that you're experiencing alongside the foods that you're eating, and really getting an understanding what's showing up: the bloating, the headaches, the energy crashes, the food cravings, the sore joints, the constipation, hot sweats. Like, when are they showing up, and how can we actually bring that back to how our body's responding? I've got a great big fly in here, look. How our body's actually responding, and when we get that bigger picture, then we can actually start to unravel it a bit and address some of these things. Have you thought of how to increase the quality and the quantity, so quality of protein and the quantity of protein in each meal? Because a lot of women are under eating these proteins and they're eating poor quality proteins, so they're just not getting enough. And as we go through our transition, our requirements, our needs for protein actually increases. And we went through that last night. You go back and listen to last night's replay, and just listen to a little piece of that conversation. Of course, the conversation's big. I've only got an hour. Like, there's only so much we can talk about, right? So the conversation's a lot bigger than that, but it certainly gives you a bit of a kickstart. So today we're going to talk about why our sleep feels broken, 5 root causes. We're going to talk a little bit about the science of sleep architecture. Have you heard of that before? We're talking about your evening protocol. These are actionable steps to take away today. We're going to talk a little bit about your identity around sleep. Remember, we spoke about identity yesterday. It's under here, actually. It may start with a thought, and our thoughts are based around our beliefs. What we believe will decide what actions we take. Can't see that, but it says results. What actions we take are going to give us the results, and the results then lead to more different thoughts. If we get good results, we're going to think something. If we don't, then we're going to think something. And a lot of these thoughts are going to be based around our beliefs. We can actually bypass and go from beliefs straight down to results. Did you know that? I do teach my clients a little bit about that as well. In the bigger programs, I teach a bit about that. It's about the mindset stuff. Can you see that? Where's the light coming from? There. Doesn't matter. Anyway, so we're going to be talking a little bit about the actionable steps and also around our identity, our beliefs. What do we believe about ourselves? What do we believe about ourselves and our sleep patterns? Oh, I'm the sort of person that goes to bed at 7 o'clock, or I'm the sort of person that stays up until 1 a.m. What do you believe about yourself around your sleep patterns? Well, I believe I just can't sleep. I'm too wired to sleep. It's interesting when we start to break it down, right? So the root causes, let's just start there, right? We've got time up our sleeves to go through things. So the root causes, have a look at Oh yeah, it's inside the handout. I've broken it down into this little section here just to keep. I'm going to talk them out a little bit though. So number one, root cause number one, your blood sugar, cortisol, nocturnal, meaning night, cascade. Oh my God, it blends in. Blood sugar and cortisol, man, can you feel that energy just getting all wound up and interconnected? Cortisol's our stress hormone. Blood sugar is going to either go up or it's going to drop and crash. So I want to explain to you exactly what's happening at 2 a.m. Maybe it's 3 a.m. for you. What's happening at that time? Why are we waking up? You see, your blood sugar, it's dropped because of what you've eaten the night before, that night. It's dropped. Maybe it's because of what you didn't eat that night in the hours before bed. We go back to our nourishment. Your body actually detects the nourishment or the blood glucose drops. It detects this as little fires, a little fire response. It's a little fire response. It's a cortisol and adrenaline flooding into your system to raise the glucose. And these are your emergency hormones, and it wakes us up. 2 a.m., damn. They're designed to make you wide awake and ready to act. Imagine if we had to respond to something out of urgency and we're in deep sleep. We've got to respond fast as a survival mechanism. And these hormones, the cortisol, the adrenaline, hormones, not just estrogen, progesterone, they flood into the system. They wake us up. It's a survival response. Why are they doing that? This is why we can't get back to sleep. Your body thinks it's a physiological emergency. There's no amount of breathing or mindfulness that will actually override an adrenaline surge. And the solution happens at dinner time. So what are we eating? It doesn't happen. The solution doesn't happen at 2 a.m. when you've woken up. That's the end result. We've got to do different actions beforehand. We go back to dinner. Psychological, like a bit more of a clinical picture of this is the psychological overnight fast. So blood glucose will typically trigger, if we're going to have a swing, it's going to typically trigger around 2 or 3 in the morning in alignment with the changes in cortisol. Now, cortisol has a 24-hour cycle. If cortisol's out, it's going to trigger this glucose response as well. So this can happen when your liver glycogen stores are depleted. It could be from alcohol, high carbohydrate dinner, like a big pasta meal. It could come from prolonged daylight restriction, meaning you're fasting through the day, and that's thrown out these rhythms. It could come from a hypoglycemic trigger. And this counteracts the release of hormones. If our blood glucose drops too low, then cortisol, glycogen, adrenaline are going to surge into the system and wake us up. And this cortisol adrenaline surge at 2 or 3 in the morning is the primary cause of waking at this time. So we've got to get balance in our system. It's a hormonal balance. It's a metabolic balance that we need to get in our system. We have the perimenopausal night waking, where we have another hormonal surge. These are the sex hormone surges. And we might wake up and feel like this arousal, this surge. It's usually does itself this big hormonal flush type of thing, and it might go for 60 seconds to maybe 2 minutes. And it's often accompanied with this feeling of warmth. Maybe you might wake up and your heart's palpitating, and this your brain will feel all sort of surged as well, and then you calm back down again. And it could be the liver's ability to actually perform effective what we call glucogenesis, where it's stabilising the glucose at the night time. If there's any nutritional dependency, like maybe adequate protein and fat in the evening meals, this will help. Just bring that nutritional component back to feeling safe and stable in the body. We want to stop eating about three hours before bedtime. We don't want to be eating and then going to bed. That's probably the most effective singular intervention that we can actually do, because the liver has to process this stuff, right? And if it's working too hard, it's going to wake us up. A couple of other root causes that I'm just going to breeze over. Now, we did go through this on day one when we were talking about different axes. Remember, I was saying the brain, you've got your hypothalamus and your pituitary in your brain, and there's different axes that work that. It would be hypothalamus, pituitary, adrenal. That'll wake you. Adrenal glands sit on top of the kidneys. It could be related to thyroid, the hypothalamus, pituitary, thyroid axis, different axes that can actually interfere, but it's the adrenal one that we're more concerned about, and it gives us this wide but tired phenotype, where you just can't function in the morning, you can't switch off at night. So nighttime you're wide awake, and morning it's like, oh, do I have to get up? It's that sort of thing where we know the adrenals are in play. The other one, and I won't go too much into that, but the other one is also a progesterone and a GABA. So GABA, and that's a different axis again. And this explains the person who, the anxiety that just comes from nowhere. Like, holy cow, where did that come from? And it's quite typical through perimenopause, menopause, and it does disrupt our sleep architecture, where we seem to be on this less slow wave sleep, more fragmented REM sleep, and we could be waking earlier. We might start to see that pattern, which is quite typical as well. And number 4, mitochondrial. Remember I said about mitochondrial being like the little energy centers inside the cell, and our body's filled with them. But if our mitochondrial little powerhouses in the cell are totally depleted, they're not creating energy because they're not getting the nutrition. It's not getting into the cell. We're not methylating, perhaps. There'll be different things that are going on. But if our mitochondria are deprived and deficient in the right nutrient, it can't make energy, it's going to impair our sleep. Our sleep is going to become less restorative. It's like, I'm so tired, but I just can't sleep. ATP is like the energy currency of the cell, and the ATP dependent process of the cellular repair, neural waste cleaning. We detox and we cleanse and we heal in deep sleep. And if our body has not got the energy to do it, then our body won't do it, and we stay really sluggish. There's another system which I haven't mentioned yet. Now we think about our brain, and we call it the glymphatic system. So we've got our lymphatic system where our body's clearing and cleaning through the night and through the day as well. But we're talking about sleep. And we've got the glymphatic system, and that's in the brain. And our brain has to drain and get rid of all of the deep, the toxins and the inflammation. One way out is down the neck, and it can only do it while we're lying down to sleep. Can't do it while we're busy, active, buzz, buzz, buzz. The brain just gets more and more inflamed over the day. We've got to lie down. We've got to get deep sleep to get this glymphatic clearance, get the glymphatic system working, activation, and it's required in deep sleep. Requires deep sleep. It also requires protein synthesis, DNA repair, and all, these are all energy dependent. So we've got to have good mitochondrial health, right, to make the energy. So a mitochondrial depleted woman does not have enough cellular energy to fully sleep, have a restorative sleep, and she'll wake up feeling exhausted. And you wake up, you could have 8 hours sleep and still feel exhausted, more exhausted than when you went to bed. Have you ever felt that? Then we know we've got an energy depletion in the brain. Number 5 is the inflammation. We go back to the glymphatic system, so the draining of the inflammation of a nighttime, so important, and how that affects your sleep architecture. It's a great word, isn't it? So the relationship, this is an important one, relationship between chronic pain. So if you know, hands up if you know anyone who has chronic pain. Chronic means that you've had pain in your body for more than 3 months. Anything less, it's acute. Longer than 3 months, it's chronic. It's long-term. It's set in. It's chronic. And there's a big relationship between chronic pain and sleep disruption, and it's bidirectional, and it's clinically profound. I love the science. So when we're inflamed, we produce these pro-inflammatory cytokines. I'm not going to go too much into all of that stuff, but what it does, it can increase our gut dysbiosis. I've got our microbiome. We've also got our estrobiome, like I spoke about yesterday. It increases food sensitivity reactions. It increases the hypothalamus pituitary adrenal dysrhythms. Is that even a word? It suppresses the production of the slow wave sleep that we need to get into a really deep healing sleep. And it amplifies pain perception. The result, how it works, worse pain in the body, anywhere in the body. Think of the lady with fibromyalgia. Worse pain produces worse sleep, which then produces worse pain. And this cycle is not addressable through just sleep hygiene alone. You've got to address the inflammation, the inflammatory drivers. They've got to be reduced, and we go back again to metabolism. That's the sciencey stuff. I'm glad I got that out of the way, but isn't it great? The science can seem complicated, but the actions are simple. So once we understand, there's actually reasons why we go back to these things. We don't have to understand the science to get good results. But we do have to understand, I believe, enough to motivate us to actually take the action. So we want to have the right thoughts, build new beliefs. We've got to have the right thoughts. I understand if I'm wired and tired, I understand you're talking to yourself, your thoughts. I'm wired and tired, then things I must do be this, this, and this. Do I believe it? Some people say, I don't believe that. Other people are like, I believe that. I believe it. It's going to change what action you take. If you don't believe it, you're not going to do it. You're going to, I don't know, maybe you're going to have a glass of wine before bed, and that's my sleepy time tea. If you do believe it, what you do will change. There's a very big difference between knowing something and putting all that knowledge, beautiful knowledge, and putting it over there somewhere. I'm not going to do it though. Or you've got this beautiful knowledge, you go, great, tell me how to do it. I need to take the steps. You really believe it. You can have the knowledge and do nothing with it, then you don't believe it. I know what to do, I just don't do it. Well, then you don't believe it. You don't understand it yet. If you've got the knowledge and you've taken it and you believe it and you're taking the actions, you'll get the results. It's science, it's biology. So what do we do? What are some of those things that we can actually do? I'm going to give you 6. Not just one. I might even sneak a bonus in. What the hell? You'll find that in your workbook as well. So you can read along with that one. So first off, I've already mentioned this one. Stop eating 3 hours before bedtime. There's a mechanism behind this because we actually we've got to allow our body to have complete gastric emptying. What does that mean? We want all of our digestive system to have done its digesting job and calm the farm down, ready for sleep. So when we're digesting, our body's not ready for sleep. It's too busy doing things. So we need to actually complete the gastric emptying. Think about 3 hours before bed is when you want to stop eating. This is going to help stabilize our blood sugar. Remember, blood sugar is going to wake us up. It's going to help our nocturnal circadian clock. It's going to reduce the risk of regulatory hormones that are released during early sleep. It's going to reduce nocturnal or sleep time GERD, which is like reflux, which can also, it's independently disrupt sleep architecture as well. It's going to support our circadian alignment of our digestive system. So we think circadian clock, we're thinking wake time, sleep time, wake time, sleep time. There's a clock, a 24-hour clock. We're wake, sleep, wake, sleep. But we've also got a lot of other circadian rhythms in our body, and one of those is a digestive circadian rhythm. And we want that digestive circadian rhythm to work in alignment with our sleep circadian rhythm, so that we're not waking up because our body's trying to digest rather than sleep. Anyway, moving on. Number 2. So that's something that's doable, right? We can stop eating early enough so that our body's ready to sleep. Number 2, dim your lights down. Dim your lights. Eliminate the big one, the blue light, after 8 o'clock. If you're going to bed earlier, depending on what you're doing shift work, you're going to juggle your hours around, right? But you want to be dulling this thing down, or the iPads, or the television screens, or even the clocks in your bedroom. If you've still got the clocks, most of us, I don't think we've got those. We're relying on our phones, aren't we? Blue light, blue light, the spectrum directly suppresses something that a lot of us are spending good money on. When we can actually produce, our body can produce it. We think, oh, I'm just deficient in melatonin. When actually our body can do it if we get that circadian clock working, our body's going to make it. So we might be thinking spending good money on melatonin when really all we have to do is just get good sleep hygiene. So some people do need the melatonin. Most of us can actually get better sleep hygiene and save the money. So the blue light suppresses melatonin synthesis. So if you're struggling to sleep and you've got a blue light in your face, then you're counteracting what you're doing. It goes back to the pineal gland, pineal in your brain. The brain's such a beautiful thing, isn't it? So we want to de-stress of it over night time. A single hour of overhead fluorescent lights can suppress melatonin. So if you stand in the kitchen, you've got those overhead lights. Like me at the moment, in front of these lights that are shining on me, the big lights, it's not good. Can suppress melatonin production for about 3 to 4 hours. That's a long time, right? So we really need to cut this stuff down before we go to sleep. Think about the architecture of sleep. We want to dim the lights to warm golden spectrum light instead, so that this allows our melatonin to actually rise up, and we get blue lights, it's going to suppress it. So we want to rise the melatonin so that we can reduce the sleep onset. We call it latency. We don't want to hold our sleep off until later or early morning. So we've got to just backtrack and think, well, how do I set myself up for that? Dim the lights. Maybe I'm talking too much. Number 3, here's a good one. Magnesium, but not all magnesium is created the same. So look at your product. If you're out there buying magnesium thinking, yeah, I'll use magnesium to help me sleep, please don't buy magnesium oxide or to think that's going to be a helpful sleep supplement. We want to be really strategic in the magnesium we use. Now, not all magnesium's the same. Magnesium piggybacks on something else. So you can have magnesium citrate, magnesium oxide, magnesium chelate, magnesium glycinate, magnesium orotate, magnesium, whatever it's piggybacking on. And whatever it's piggybacking on is going to go and do something different in the body. So we actually want magnesium glycinate. Let's try that. You want about maybe 400 to 600 milligrams of that, and do it about 60 minutes before bed. Like let it actually settle in and start to activate. Magnesium is required for GABA receptor function, and GABA is going to promote sleep. It's going to support ATP. Remember the energy currency of the cell, our mitochondrial function. It's going to support our mitochondrial rest phase repair. It's really important. It's going to help muscle relaxation. So it's going to reduce restless legs and nocturnal cramps. The glycinate, magnesium glycinate, the glycinate form, it actually has superior bioavailability within the body. Unlike oxide's really bad, like poorly absorbed, but glycinate is easily absorbed. It's way more bioavailable. So, and it avoids the laxative effect of something like an oxide. So be mindful of which one you're choosing. Magnesium helps, is really important when we're feeling depleted by stress, when we're drinking alcohol, when we're eating refined carbohydrates, being crackers and breads and pastas and, biscuits and things like that. Magnesium is depleted by these foods. And also if we're taking PPIs. So if we've got reflux and we're taking the PPIs, that will actually deplete us of magnesium as well. So keep that in your mind as well. You might know someone you love that is actually on the reflux medications. Number 4, a warm bath. Oh, it's my favourite. I don't have a bath, I have a shower. A warm bath or a shower. Relax. Really set yourself up. The mechanism behind this one is that our core body temperature must drop by approximately 1 degree to help initiate this sleep onset. You feel cozy and warm, you're ready, your body's just starting to wind down. We want to drop our core body temperature a bit. So it's always good to have the room maybe a little bit chillier, but have the warmth of the blankets on us can actually help us do that. Warm water is good for vasodilates peripheral vessels in our body, our blood vessels, and so it can move blood from the skin and accelerating the heat dispersing as well. That core drop in body temperature, to do that 20 or 30 minutes, it happens 20, 30 minutes after the shower, the bath, and it can reliably help us initiate like the sleep onset. It's particularly effective for women who are experiencing hot flush related sleep dysregulation. It helps calm the body down. Number 5, and this helps those that are ruminating a lot. Oh, busy brains, busy monkey brains, always got lots to do. Write that stuff down. Write down tomorrow's 3 priorities. This could be any unresolved tasks that we just haven't finished today, and we're like thinking through, oh shit, I didn't do that, I've got to do that, and write it down and write down your to-do list for tomorrow and give yourself permission. Now it's time for sleep. But while it's busy rattling around here, we're too occupied. We don't want to forget it. We've got to remember this, got to remember that, and it just ruminates and ruminates. We have what we call a default mode network, DMN, and it's the brain's resting state rumination network. It's pretty cool, isn't it? The DMN activation is incomplete with sleep onset, and the brain keeps ruminating. So take a few minutes, write things down, reduce your sleep onset latency, which means the amount of time you lie there, can't go to sleep. It reduces that significantly. And the little bonus I'm going to slip in here is something that I learned a number of years back, that our thoughts are incredibly powerful. And if we say something with enough conviction because we believe what we're saying, the unconscious mind's going to believe it too. So if we say something with enough conviction, our body will listen. And so we can actually command ourselves, sleep now. Sleep now. Oh, but I've got to think about, stop, sleep now. Oh, but what about, stop, sleep now. You can command that of yourself. It's amazing how powerful that control is that we have over our own mind. But the trick is you've got to catch yourself out, because often our brain just goes, oh, monkey, 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 and we don't catch it out. We just let it do its own thing and we never stop it. But if we have the tool to actually say, oh, you know what, I can actually catch myself out and I can tell myself to stop. No, now it's time to sleep. And you can command that. And it actually works a beautiful little treat if you do it regularly enough and train yourself. A little bit of bonus there. Number 6, gratitude. See how simple some of these can be. Experiencing gratitude, expressing gratitude. Gratitude actually activates the prefrontal cortex of our brain. It generates DHEA and oxytocin. I'm sure you've heard of oxytocin. My ladies will love the oxytocin. Is like the love drug. And when we express gratitude, oxytocin is released. We don't have to save that for bedtime. We can just do it all the time. And it's just like the love drug. When we appreciate and show gratitude to those people that are around us, maybe those that support us, maybe those that, that we love and we don't maybe say enough gratitude to. And when we do, it's just a love drug. It's so good. We can produce our own oxytocin purely by doing a thought an action and result. We believe it. I'm going to tell my person, I'm going to tell my person, hey, I'm really grateful for this, that, and the other, and really say it with emotion, really believe it. It's going to change the actions that you're doing, what you're expressing, I suppose the actions that you're expressing, and you're going to get better results. And when you get better results, your thoughts will change. It's a beautiful process. The emotional gratitude, it is a physiological process. And when we can, when our body's stressed because we're ruminating on all the tasks, oh God, I've got to do this, got to do that, it raises the cortisol and it makes sleep harder. But when we flip the coin and we do gratitude instead, it calms the brain down and gets us ready for bed. We often call it priming the state. We prime ourselves, and we prime ourselves by this. And you're actively choosing the neurochemical environment of your body. Cortisol, oxytocin. Which one are you choosing? And one will help you fall asleep, the other will keep you awake. I do have other techniques that I teach my clients too. That's enough for tonight. Running out of time. Now I want to ask you something. So that is, it got your checklist in your handout there. We've gone through the root causes, and there's some sleep questions to sort of ask yourself later tonight when you're preparing yourself for sleep. It's good to find your pattern. It's good to track it. So I do have a tracker here, a tracker where you can actually go, okay, what time was my bedtime? What time did I wake up? How many hours sleep did I get? What did I have that night? Or what didn't I have that night or that day? What's my stress level at? 1 to 10. 10 out of 10 being really stressed, 1 being pretty chill. And what's my sleep quality? Rate that as well. Was it, oh man, I had the best sleep, 10 out of 10. Oh man, I had the worst sleep, 0. Like, give yourself a score. When you can track this, you start to see the pattern. It's an interesting process. How are you going there? I want to ask you something. I want to ask you something that might feel a little unexpected. And I do hear women talk about this when we have the conversation around energy and sleep and just getting a good daily routine. And the question comes up, do you believe that you deserve to rest? I don't mean just sleep, not just sleep, not just sleep as those hours where we're unconscious in our body and we're just zoned out and know nothing. Not just the hours of unconsciousness in your body, where that eventually takes you into, because you don't have any choice, your body just passes out. Not that, not just sleep. But I mean genuine, guilt-free, non-productive, restorative rest. Because I meet so many women who are exhausted beyond words, and who just cannot let themselves stop. They feel like they're wasting time sleeping, or they're on such an adrenaline, cortisol-driven high, that wired. They're like, no, I can't stop. And they just don't allow themselves to stop. And so then the question goes back to, do you believe you deserve to rest? Ask yourself. Who are the last ones to bed in your house? Who's the last ones to bed? Who's the first one up? Who feels somewhere in their belief system that their worth is tied to their output? How much can I get done? How much do I need to do? Can I get it all done? I'm supporting them and doing everything for everybody else. And that means that satisfies their sense of self-worth. Is that a belief? that perhaps has crossed your mind? That rest must be earned, that they need to justify stopping. I can't stop yet. I haven't done enough. I know, because I've done it myself. I know. I've been there. I've had to question my own beliefs around sleep. I've always been a really good sleeper, but I must say I'm like trying to cram all this stuff in through the day. And like, no, I can't stop now. I can't stop now. I've got so much to do. And the more I get done, the more I feel good about myself. So I don't want to stop. But when we break it down and think, well, does rest, I've got to earn it. I've got to earn rest. Your body will reach burnout if you push yourself to that point. And that is very much an adrenal function. And cortisol is heavily involved. And it is an inflammatory process within our body too. So if we're stuck and just in pain and things, we're not sleeping, all those things, then we've got to go back and really challenge our belief system. Does rest need to be earned? Do you need to justify stopping? I want to say something directly. Judy. Yeah. Sometimes it's good to actually push the boundaries on what we think we know. And sometimes when we do that, we have better questions to ask ourselves. It's not just, oh, can I or can't I sleep? It's not about that. The more we know, we can challenge our belief systems. We can challenge what better questions can we ask? And the question is really the belief around what's driving your cortisol. It's keeping your nervous system in survival mode every waking hour. It's making your sleep worse, because a nervous system that does not know how to rest during the day does not know how to sleep at night either. And your radiant self does not have to earn her rest. She deserves the rest. Her body needs time and deserves time to recalibrate. Your radiant self, she already knows that restoration is the most productive thing that she can do for everyone else that she loves. If you can't show up for yourself, how the hell are you going to show up for everybody else without burning out? She knows this already. This is not some concept that I made up. It's not a concept that anyone's made up. It's biology. It's and we must live it as a practice, as like a non-negotiable. I believe that I deserve this. My body deserves it. That me as a person, I deserve to have care for myself. Self-care. Self-care is not about hairdos and fingernails. Self-care is about caring for yourself, the home that you live in. Lights out, time for sleep, children. It's a bit like that, isn't it? So I want you to place your head, heart, hand. I want you to place your hand on your heart. Really do it. Follow through. And I want you to say with me out loud in your heart, I deserve to rest. My body deserves to repair. Restoration is not laziness. No. It is the foundation of everything that I give. And that is your radiant self speaking from your center. I deserve to rest. My body deserves to rest. Restoration is not laziness. It is the foundation of everything that I give. And that is your radiant self speaking from your own center. Do you believe it? Are you feeling challenged by that? If you're feeling challenged, what's coming up for you? Write it down. Write it down. If you don't write it down, you're going to ruminate or you're just going to forget. So write it down. Write it in your handout today. That may be the answer to actually getting a good night's sleep and waking up refreshed and energized, full of energy and vitality each and every day. You're welcome. Did you catch that? Rest, and restoration. Restore. restoration. Restore your energy. Restoration. 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 Words are clever, and your unconscious mind knows that. I've got 3 actionable steps. You feeling tired? Time for bed. 3 actionable steps. I want you to complete the sleep architecture. Sleep architecture tonight. Try and do it for 7 nights in a row. Why? Seems a bit challenging, Jodie. 7? I'm never going to remember that. Remember it. Just choose to remember it. Do it for 7 nights. Notice the pattern. Challenge yourself to do it. Make it a non-negotiable. Why? Because you deserve it. 7 nights. Implement at least 3. Choose your favourite 3 of the 6 evening protocol steps. Stop eating 3 hours before bed. Dim the lights. Magnesium glycinate. Warm bath or shower. Write tomorrow's 3 top priorities. And 5 minutes of gratitude. Just choose 3. Just do it. What do you got to lose? A better night's sleep? You're going to forget? Make it a non-negotiable. Self-care. Care for self. I want you to practice to breathe. We didn't really go into this one, but I want you to practice to breathe. 4, 7, and 8 breaths. You can set up a reminder on your phone, a reminder for 9 o'clock, maybe at night time. Maybe that's time for bed. And the 4, 7, 8. You inhale for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. You inhale. You hold it for 7. 1, cat, dog, 2, cat, dog, 3, cat, dog, 4, cat, dog, 5, cat, dog, 6, cat, dog, 7, cat, dog. And you exhale even longer. You exhale for 8 and blow it out until you're totally empty. And I want you to do that 4 times. And why? It's sort of about getting the oxygen in, but also getting the carbon dioxide to help you relax. I want you to do it through your nose. Your nose is probably one of the most powerful tools that you have. Do it through your nose. Why, Judy? Because breathing through your nose is going to help you produce nitric oxide, which is going to help you calm your body. 4 in, hold for 7, and 8 out. Do it through your nose 4 times before bed. And just notice how much calmer you feel. That was another little bonus there. Snuck that one in. And there we have it. So tomorrow, when you wake up all refreshed and lovely with your lymphatic system has been working and drained your brain of all that inflammation and the toxic buildup that accumulates through the day, and you wake up refreshed. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about movement. Now, I'm going to tell you something also that surprises almost every woman that I work with, particularly if they're coming from the I've got to eat less and exercise more mentality, that old dieting concept. Just chuck it away. Doesn't work. It's old school. It's only a tiny piece of the puzzle, and we are so much more complicated than just calories in, calories out. That's basic. Let's move beyond that. That's the level of learning. Remember, that is the level of learning that we may have. Remember, back to day 1. Calories in, calories out is down here. We think we know what we're doing until we realize that it's not actually working. We need to know something else. So we're going to the point where we go, oh, okay, I realize that I need to know something else, but who do I listen to? Where am I getting this information from? How do I do it? I don't know. I've got to go and I've got to search. Do I try that? Do I try that? We go out there searching. And then we go, found something. This is great. I'm held accountable. It's being explained to me. I'm being supported. I know this is working for my body. I just need to practice and practice, put my training wheels on, practice until you get so good at it. You don't even have to think about it. It's just who you are. So the exercise that you've been doing, that you've been pushing yourself to do, may actually be working against you. You want to know more? I'll tell you more tomorrow. I'll explain exactly why, and I'll give you the 3-part movement framework that is specifically designed for the perimenopausal, menopausal body. It's smarter, not harder. It changes everything. And I want to plant something also for day 5. Stay with me till day 5. We can measure our 24-hour cortisol curve using a simple saliva test, and we can talk about that on Friday. And of course, the replays go up. You can always go back in and watch the replays. They'll be available. Now, when I can see exactly where cortisol is at 7 in the morning, lunchtime, and 4 p.m. and midnight, then I can time every intervention in the evening protocol to your specific pattern. I don't have to actually do that for a lot of people, because I do find that when we get inflammation down, we sleep so much better. When we get nourishment in, our mitochondria produces the energy, and our sleep improves anyway. So do we need to know the cortisol? Oh, we can get it tested, and we can certainly, and I do certainly test it with some women, but that would be after we address some of the other things. But let's talk about that, because it is something quite interesting. Now, this is not, we're not looking at a protocol that we found on Google. We're not asking ChatGPT, what shall I do? It's generic. They don't know you. What we do on day 5 is talk about you and what is yours and what's expressing in you and what can you do about yours. Not Google, ChatGPT, some page out of a book, or the lady next door or the woman up the road giving you some advice that is really not appropriate to what's going on in your body. And that level of precision is where how I work with the women that I work with, and we get results. And it's possible for all of us. And so I'll explain that a little bit more. It's a beautiful, beautiful process that we can go through. And once you know, you can't unknow. It's a bit like the information we're going through this week. Red pill, blue pill moments. You didn't know it, and now you do. It's like, oh, well, I can't unknow it. Now I know it, I can't unknow it. Could you find this stuff on the internet? Sure. Might take a long time to actually sift through all that information. Or you can join me, and I've done the research for you. I know it. I've done all the study. I've done all the research. Done all the stuff. I'll just I've done it all for you. So come and join me on that one. Thank you, ladies. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for showing up for yourself. Hand on heart. When it comes to gratitude, I'm surrounded by some really intelligent clients. They're smart women. They're doing all the things right, and they get stuck. And to make the changes that are more personalised for them, and to watch and witness them get the results that they get, it's just beautiful, because they're just adding more, another layer of information on their brilliance already, and it's so sustainable, and it's so logical, but you don't know it until you know it. It's a beautiful process. Thank you, ladies, for joining me. Much gratitude. I hope you have a beautiful, peaceful sleep tonight. Write down the things, get them out of your head, put them on paper. Allow yourself to sleep in a deep sleep. Make sure you go to bed on time. Please watch what you're eating tonight, making sure that it's a balanced meal that's got the good proteins and fats in them that will help you sleep as well. And the sleep architecture is very real. When you get up in the morning, look at the sunlight. Let's get the melatonin circadian rhythm back in by getting sunlight exposure. That will help us as well. Have a beautiful night, and thank you for joining me, and we will clock in again tomorrow. Good night.